Hello.
Take care of herself. She has no need for the care of her body.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you guys hear me? Hello. Anybody can hear me? I need some kind of response. I just want to make sure everything is good. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Can I get some response? Anybody out there? Unmute your mics, please. Somebody. I need some response.
Hello.
Hi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How's everything, sister? Everything all right?
Alhamdulillah.
All right, great. So, okay, so at least we have some feedback. Now I know that we're on live. Um, Good. We are waiting for Kemaul, brother Kemaul to come in, and he is here. Perfect.
Hey guys, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
You guys want to wait like a couple minutes just to see if anybody else gets in? I don't think a lot of people were paying attention to the.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's just wait a few more minutes and get everybody in here. Let me just spread it out. On the group as well.
People are asking where to find the link.
People asking. Give me 1 second. More. Right.
I think it's on WhatsApp also.
Yeah, I put it up on WhatsApp as well. I'm just spreading it around a little bit more. So, Kemaul, how you doing, my man? You saw how it was today?
Say that again.
Today.
Sorry.
We're all hurting today in the stock market, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling kind of conflicted. I was having a conversation in the other group with JV, and he's just telling me to increase your position. So I'm kind of tempted to do so because like most of my portfolios actually holds. It's not even scalping. So, but like, see, the thing is like it's really stressful when you know you're holding something overnight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, after hours, you don't know what's gonna happen. In the stock market, you don't know what's gonna happen when you go to speak your crypto. Look what happened. Was it last night or the previous night or whatever when it dropped to like 21? Like Link dropped to 21, Bitcoin to like 44, 44K. Like that kind of stuff happens. You know what I mean? So it's kind of relaxing when you can just like exit all of your positions at the end of the day. You're sitting on cash. Everybody else is stressing it, and you're not.
Yeah,
big red day, big red day.
Yeah, so I mean, but it's I think for most people and in the class I had alluded to this point, it's just important for you to have strategy and stick to the strategy. Set some goals, work towards your goals, make sure you have clearly defined ways of achieving those goals. And and inshallah it can work out. But yeah, today was bad, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, people were hurting today.
Yeah, today was bad, and again, it goes back to like because if you looked at the Dow, I mean, what did the Dow close at today? It was up. Like
yeah, it was definitely up more than the other 2 or 3. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? NASDAQ was only, it was down 67 points. All right. That was pretty bad given its size, but it's about diversifying. And my portfolio is still not diversified enough. I have a feeling that these retail apps like Webull and Robinhood and maybe even Thinkorswim, but I'm not on it. I have a feeling that algorithms push technology stocks
more, right? Obviously, yeah. You know that, yeah, that's I guess, you know, that's a one, you know, depending on who you are. If you're looking more at probably, you know, tech stocks, then it's probably targeting you more.
Yeah.
Tech stocks, that's also, that could be also
Yeah.
thing.
So like there's all of these like algorithms that are targeting the way that we look at things. Like I'm looking at Caterpillar. Like I jumped into Caterpillar last week and I'm already up 12% on it, including today it was up almost 1%. Whereas everything else basically for me was bleeding. But Caterpillar, it's not technology, right? So, you know, it just goes to show, like, you know, just you got to keep it diversified. You know what I mean?
100%, 100%. I totally agree with that. You know, even though like a lot of people were hurting, you know, and stuff like that, you know, it was like, you know, I think I feel like I'm well diversified. Like my airline stocks were doing really good today, you know, JetBlue, you know, and Jets, and I had an ETF on that as well. Those were doing good for me today. So that, I guess that kept me afloat because it kind of like, you know, balanced out, you
Yeah.
know. I could have, if I was all invested in one, you know, one field like EVs or something like that, it would have probably hurt me a lot more today, you know.
Right.
You know, that's a good strategy as well. You always have to diversify your assets. All right, so it seems like
You
what you
want
call it?
to give me share status?
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Give me a second. Make hosts. All right,
All right.
you got it.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So today, like, you know, and I'm pretty transparent with like my, you know, kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis, and I just tell everybody just to motivate people and to get them to understand um, that, you know, you can do similar things. But I'm up 17% in the last 3 days in my trading account. Meanwhile, everything is just like gone to bloody hell. Oh wait, hold on a sec. I got somebody who's trying to come in. Okay. Yeah. So the first things first, right? Like a couple of days ago, when we started to bleed, and it wasn't terrible, right? So whenever the momentum is bad, so I'm gonna switch now to like the hourly. By the way, everyone can see my chart, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So was it here? Yeah, it was here. Okay. So if we zoom in a little bit, so like you see a lot of bleeding going on here, right? So like this is Chainlink. I sometimes trade Ethereum, but 90% of my scalps are Chainlink. And that's just cause I don't really, I didn't really decide on that for any particular reason. I just happened to, you know, it's one of the cryptos that I most believe in. So naturally, I'm always looking at the chart. So I'm like, hey, why don't I just start scalping? So nevertheless, you could do this with, you know, Ethereum. You could do this with Bitcoin, even though I don't recommend trying to trade Bitcoin. You could do this with Litecoin. You could do this with, you know, any of the other ones. It's up to you. It's all about your preference. So we were at a high here of 35.74. And we started to bleed. So the momentum was like really building. Now, keep in mind, this is the hourly, right? So if we're moving like this, you know what I'm saying? Like this much, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, like that tells you like the momentum is pretty bad, you know, or I should say, really, it's pretty big in terms of like, you know, downward trend. So anytime that happens, what I tend to do, and honestly, I'm making it a habit now, in any kind of like short-term bearish trend, and even with a long-term, I am going to set my stop loss. I'm sorry, I'm going to set a buy order. I'm going to set a buy order on one of the lower EMAs on one of the higher time frames. So 1 hour, 4 hours, or mostly 1 hour and 4 hour, even sometimes the daily, right? So like here, sorry, we got another person entering. So here, I can't remember which moving average I used. I want to say it was the 200, and here it is. Now, needless to say, we blew past it, right? So I set mine is 28.95. I want to say I said it somewhere at that time. It was like around 28.50, or something like that. I think it was 28.50. But you know, it dropped all the way down to, what is that? The low was 27.50. All right, cool, whatever. I woke up, it had already like shot up at that point. You know what I mean? Like I woke up in the morning and it had already picked up. And then I just exited. Like I made my money. Like, what am I gonna do now? You know what I mean? So that's one thing that you could do is like tonight. Now I don't necessarily think we're gonna drop down, but if I'm looking at the chain, okay, before I go to that, so that was the first, that was one of the first ones that I made recently. I did it again during the day. I can't remember when. It wasn't really a big trade. I only made like 80 bucks on it, whatever. I did it today. I think I did it here, or it might have been here. What did this go to? 24.87. Okay, so I jumped in here as well. If we go to the 4 hour, yep. No, that's not it. This one, 24. Yeah, this one. Okay. So I jumped in here like around 27. Now again, it blew right past it. But what typically happens with crypto, right, is when you have these big flash crashes, you're gonna have a lot of buyers who jump in, right, at a certain point, and it's usually around the 200 moving average. So I would set it either just above or just below the 200 moving average, and these are the bigger time frames, right? So in this case, look at the volume candle. Zoom out a little bit so you can see. You know, that's a pretty big candle. So that tells you that, okay, it's gonna pick up. So if I'm over here, I mean, look at where the next candle opened up. It opened up at 30.17, right? So, you know, from 27 to 30, let's say 30, that's $3, right? So now $3 for, you know, 100 chain links, let's say for example, it's $300. I made 330. Was it on this play? I can't even remember. But I made a decent amount on this play as well. So like overnight, what I'm doing whenever, you know, especially now, and I'm gonna probably do it again tonight, I'm setting a buy order down, you know, around the 200 moving average, just above it or just below it, depending on how I feel. If it hits, great. You know, if it blows through it, it's probably gonna bounce back up like it did here. Look at this candle. I did it here. Look at the volume. I did it here. Look at the volume. You know what I mean? And then I did it here too. I did it here as well. So yeah, guys, if you have a mic on, could you like mute?
WhatsApp.
Whoever has their mics on, let me see.
Hey guys, if anybody has a mic on, can you please mute the mics? Because hello?
Oops.
Right, there we go.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, so mute everyone.
Hey, I don't know if that person. Yeah, there you go again. All right, cool. Now they're all muted.
All right. Okay. So yeah, so that's basically what I did for the past couple of days, with a 5K account. Like I don't dabble in like big trading accounts because number one, I don't have that kind of money. And yeah, and that's pretty much the reason why. Like if I had more, I would use more. All right. So that was what I did the past couple of days with those. With tonight, what I did after I plotted my fib levels, can you guys see these arrows?
Yeah, I can see them.
Yes, yes.
So you know, JV gave me the tip. He's like, you know, try to rely more on the 5-minute candle. So, you know, I was looking at the 5-minute candle. Now here, we're having this upward movement. So I'm watching it now at this point. Bitcoin had crossed 50K. And I'm saying to myself, all right, let me take a look. I saw this, right? I saw this big volume candle. And I'm saying to myself, okay, At this point, we have a golden cross here. We got a big volume candle here. At that point, at around here, the MACD had curled up. And I'm saying to myself, well, at this point, we've crossed over the 2644 support or resistance at that point, I should say. It looks like it's a good point to jump into. So then I looked at the 15-minute candle and I'm saying to myself, all right, we got this resistance up here. We got this EMA sitting here. So it's kind of like a pseudo confluence going on between the two indicators. So I should probably write it, right? Because there was another, if you notice here, there was another golden cross. So we have golden crosses all around. We have good volume, right? Because if we go back to the 5-minute, I mean, this is a big, big candle because, I mean, just look at, precedent. Look over here with similar volumes. What happened? You got similar price action, right? Look over here. The price dipped, buyers bought, price went up. See what I'm saying? So you want to use those indicators, multiple indicators, obviously, and to be able to gauge that. And that's pretty much what I did. I bought in here at 27.20. I wrote it up to about 27.85 on about almost 200 links. It was 110 bucks. That's all I was looking for. Sell. I mean, is it going up? Yeah, it's been struggling though. I mean, let's look up here. It's been struggling to break this resistance level. But I just took my exit because that was enough for me. You know what I mean? But volume, golden crosses, EMAs, price action, MACD going, shooting up, and that was pretty much it. And so tonight, what I'm gonna do, if I'm looking, honestly speaking, at this right now, I'm probably not gonna jump in, although Bitcoin is making moves, right? Which is probably good for the price action of all the other alts. So
Yeah, it just hit 50,000 something else there.
yeah, it's almost at 51,000, right? So like it's just below 50,900. Link just crossed over 28. All right, cool. But it's not my comfort zone. So it's all about risk management, right? So like what is here? Like look at the volume. The volume is kind of waning, it's going down, it's drying up. MACD is kind of flattening out. RSI is already kind of, kind of high. So it's not something that I want to necessarily get into at this point, although you could, because Bitcoin it leads the way, right? So it could test 28.12, it could test that and then, shoot up to 29.80, which would be really nice, but it's not worth my risk. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I were to jump in on a play, I would probably wait to see, some downward price action, look at the volume on that, look at my other indicators, and then probably play this region right here, this 2644. The EMA is at 2678. I would probably play it between here because you got all these EMAs here. You got this fib level here. You could compare it and you can see, I mean, same thing, right? On the 15-minute. Let's look at the 1 hour. Same thing. You got an EMA sitting right there. And yeah, and see what happens. You know what I mean? But for me, for the purposes of tonight, I'm going to look at the 4 hour. Let's reset this chart. And let's just empty it out. Okay. Nothing here is really speaking to me. It looks like it's just going to move up. But if I had to, I would probably look for a retest at the 23 area. Pray that it drops there. It's probably not going to drop there though. And see what happens. And if it does drop there, great. I wake up in the morning, the order will probably, let's say it fills, it'll shoot up, let's say a couple bucks, $2-3, make your 300-400, call it a day, and that's it. And that's pretty much how I do it. Any questions?
So you would basically put it in your buy orders the night, as soon as you enter, and then basically have a buy order in place already.
Yeah. So like I did that the past few days, and again, set it at one of the bigger, because the thing about the bigger moving averages is that, remember, the EMAs are exponential moving averages, is the weighted average of that particular time period. So if you're looking at 200 days, that's indicative of all of the buyers over the span of 200 days. So that's a large pool of traders, right?
Absolutely. Right.
And so for it to break that, it would take a lot. And even if it does break it, it's not going to go south, like way south. It would have already had to go south, a good way. So, if I'm looking at the daily, like look all the way down here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's
So
like, that was
I'm
the
gonna
worst
put,
case
if
scenario.
I'm gonna put a buy order, I might put it here. I probably wouldn't put it at 16. I would probably put it somewhere where the price action really starts to turn, which is around 2034, 2052. This is down to 21. So yeah, I would probably put it down there. If it blows to 16, it's probably going to shoot back up. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Okay.
If you have, you don't want to risk it per se, then set it lower at a different. So this is where you have to plot your trend lines, not your trend lines, your supports now. Over here looks like it would probably be one. So like 1750-ish. So you could set it there. I'm going to set mine tonight. I don't think it's going to fill, but if it does, I win.
Right.
And 2 out of the last 3 nights I've won. You know what I mean? So as soon as I wake up, like I don't give a shit. Like I'm not trying, for $5-6 gains. Like I don't care. Like if I made $2-3 on 200 links, like that's good. You know what I mean?
That's like $2 on that's $400 right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So past 3 days, I'm up almost $1,000, whereas the markets have been bleeding.
Absolutely.
So, if you do it in a similar way, you could probably be successful. And if you have more capital to play with, oh man, like think about it. If I had 5 times the capital, because honestly speaking, if you're gonna day trade, you should have 25,000. Like you really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that goes also back to the strategy part, right? It all depends on what kind of strategy you have, what kind of time.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just saying, like instinctively,
Yeah.
like yo, wow, 5 times the amount that I made, that would have been almost $5 grand. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So yeah, so it's like I said, it's all up to you guys how you want to do it, but that's pretty much how I did the past few days. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
We could open up the floor. Go ahead, anybody.
Yeah. If you guys want to unmute.
Oh yeah, you unmute if you want.
You're all muted right now. If not, I'll see you when I'll see you.
There's still more people coming in. I think.
Yeah, they're late to the party, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of impromptu. Obviously, there's impromptu ones are the most ones, most beneficial.
Not only that, but like I just threw out a bunch of terms that some of the people, if you weren't in the class, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right, and if you want to link to the class, you just I'll post it back up again. Right, I definitely suggest you watching it.
Because if you don't know this chart, Trading View, this website, then that's one thing. I go through that in the class. If you don't know some of the terms that I mentioned, confluence, RSI, MACD, EMAs, simple moving averages, like all of those things I covered in the class. Fibonacci levels, how to plot them. So you saw that, I took it off. Actually, I think I could put it back on.
We went in depth in that class, right? It was about 3.5 hours, 3 hours long, right? I did break it up into small digestible pieces. If you guys want, just let me know and I'll just put it up there for you guys too as well.
Yeah, so that way you at least have a background as to what the heck we're talking about, because sometimes we have these Zooms where we just start talking, and so you kind of want to be in the know. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Who am I talking to?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah. So I came in a little late, so I'm not sure. Did you the last, I think, like 10-15 minutes I was watching, any of those play you used the fib on it?
Yeah, well, the fib, so I didn't use it as a be all end all, right? So like I used the fib to kind of see where the areas of supports and resistances are. So one of the areas of, if you noticed on that fib, I don't know if you noticed, but 2812 was one area of resistance that I had. And so also what was sitting there on the 15-minute chart and the 5-minute chart were the EMAs.
Right.
Sorry, not on the 15. Was it? Yeah. So look at this one, right?
Right.
It's sitting there, and that's the 200, and that's kind of a tough one sometimes to break. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Now it
yeah,
broke
yeah.
it. It broke it. But what I'm trying to say is like it was too much for my risk appetite.
Right, could go either way.
So you know, the way that I looked at it was like 28 is a psychological zone. I'm entering in at 27.20. You know,
Right.
as soon as I get comfortable and I've made, because honestly, my goal was $100. I made 110. That was enough.
Yeah, and you want that confirmation too in this kind of situation.
Right,
Cases
right.
right here.
So
Either way, yeah.
in that situation, you know, it was enough for me. I could have let it ride, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
So
profit is profit, man. You know.
profit is profit, and that's the way that I look at it. So like, you know, 31 out of 38, you know, scalping plays
Right.
and almost $450 for the day on a day when everybody's bleeding. It's not bad, you know what I mean? But
No, the
again,
entire
I'm new to
country is
this,
bleeding.
right? I'm new to this. So like certain things, like I was sitting at my laptop. What I should have done was set a stop limit loss, you know, and just ride it. Like how we like
I was gonna suggest. I was gonna ask
right.
why didn't
But
you?
like again, as a novice, you're not.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
of
Like,
course, of
all
course.
of these things have to click whilst you're doing it, and it was just something that just didn't click in my mind. But something interesting earlier happened. I was in the city because you know I had to pick up my mom who had her operation,
Mhm.
and you know I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at not the chart. I'm looking at Coinbase Pro, and you know the price that kind of stabilized. So I'm like, yo, I should jump in, and
Right,
old me would have been like, all right, just jump in. You know what I'm saying? But the new me
right.
and you know becoming a little bit more seasoned is like, no, you have to look at the chart. Do not jump.
You have to look at
You know,
it.
my advice, guys, don't jump into any play until you've opened up Trading View. You've got
Remember
it
about a month ago you did it, and I was like, why did you do that?
right,
And you, right,
right. You know, so these mistakes, you know, you learn from them.
right.
So I didn't make that. You know, it wouldn't have necessarily been a mistake today, but another day it could have been. You know, it could have been a
I
mistake.
mean, you can still look at it and still go the other way, but at least you have some sort of idea
Yeah.
into
So for me today, it was just like, all right,
Cool.
you know, I you know I made a little bit of money now, so and on top of what I made earlier, I'm out. But the good thing is I have a hold account also, so anything that's riding up, like what I made earlier, I bought 20 links. That's sitting in an account, and that was from $26. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm already up $2.41 on that particular order. So you know, and if it goes down, I'm happy. I think that's the most comforting aspect of it all is that when it goes down, you're not worried because
But you know it's going back up.
not only that it's going back up, but your money isn't at play necessarily. Like, you know, if it's going south, you're not holding anything to begin with. You get what I'm trying to say? Like you're
Well,
waiting.
also trying to say is that, you know, when it's going up and then you buy thinking it's going up and then it comes back down, then you kind of like, you know, you kind of like flying without wings after
Well,
that.
in that
But once it
situation,
comes down,
yeah,
a better
in that
chance is
situation,
2-3% to go back up. Yeah.
you have to have, you know, a particular
Right.
area of exit for your stop loss. You have to say to
Right.
yourself, like, wait a minute, you know, I'm not. This is going a little too far south for me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
earlier tonight, I think my stop was like, or, you know, my exit was like at 26.40 or 26.36, where the other EMA was sitting. And I said, all right,
Cool.
if I go below that, time to get out. You know, so like, yeah, you know, I would have taken a hit, but it wouldn't have decimated me. You know what I mean? At that point, I would have
Right.
just been stuck, and I would have had to wait until it recovered, and some
Right.
for me to say, all right, you know, now I can resume scalping. So you never
Cool.
want that to happen. You know?
Cool. So with
Uh,
what's happening over the last, you know, 24 hours or so, and what we're seeing now, the recovery, and maybe for the next, you know, 48 hours, is there any sort of projection you see with,
yeah, I
just
mean,
generally Bitcoin?
I think we'll continue to move up in the interim.
Okay.
The volume looks decent here. Or
Right.
let's zoom out a little bit. Let's go to the 1 hour. I mean, yeah, the volume is good. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of the day, how
Mhm.
it's moved. Here, it's
Right.
not because remember the EMAs. You want it to fly a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's
But for the
flattening
most
down.
part, I mean, we wanted to, so closing, you wanted to get above 49. We didn't get above 49 to close, right? But right after,
Right.
literally right after, we started to move up. So I think at least for the short run will be good. Also, that news broke today about Square purchasing $170 million worth of Bitcoin.
Well, that's just one of the institutions you're gonna hear
Right,
about after
right.
the trap. So,
So
you know.
Michael Saylor, well, they had announced before that they were setting up notes to get $1 billion, right? But Square, in addition to the 50 million that they had before, they added at an average of 51,000, right? They added $170 million worth of Bitcoin. So like
Right.
whenever you have news like that, it kind of sets people at ease. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, you would, that's expected that when you have these kind of pullbacks. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, Elon must buy up at that low too, and so many others. Grayscale for sure. I mean, all these people are
right.
gonna buy up. You probably see all that in another week or so after the
Right.
filing. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if I'm looking at the daily, you want to get, you know, higher highs, higher lows. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Generally for a bear run, sorry, a bull run. But now it's just about getting higher lows. So if you can just continuously like close above, you know, this area here, you know, let's say we close here tomorrow and then the next day, and you know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
that's what you're looking out for whenever you're looking at the macro. That's how you would gauge it with the
Right.
daily and the weekly.
Right.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Else has anything?
Yeah, man. Sounds good. How's your mom doing, by the way?
She was
Alhamdulillah.
in pain, but she's a lot
Yeah.
better given the fact that the procedure was a success. She's back home now.
Yeah, like give her shifa, inshallah. I mean, all right, man.
I mean, brother.
All right. Thanks.
Anybody
Take
else
care,
have
man.
any questions? You know, especially what's going on. Oh, yo, let me ask you something. Whatchamacallit? What do you think about these? Does anybody know how to get onto these dexes by any chance? Because I thought I was gonna put up a class together for that. How to get onto, basically use MetaMask and get onto these dexes. So if you guys want, I'm gonna throw that up there. There's a link as well, YouTube video as well. Right, and I think Kemaul, would you mind if we just, you know, record this and put it back onto the chat, and then basically let them, other people who missed out, get it?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns?
All right.
That's it.
That's it. All right, let's call it a
Nice.
night. Let's try to make some money.
All right. Take care, man.
Put your stop losses in order and put your buy orders in.